Hi, welcome to another WP Post Tools tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn how to configure advertisement settings and show advertisements related to the posts. One of the usages of the advertisement feature is to show affiliate products. Let's dive into it. First, let's navigate to Advertisement Settings page by clicking Advertisements from Post Tools menu in the Admin menu. To create our first advertisement, let us click Ads tab and click Add New Ad. Now, let's create an advertisement for Amazon and show products from there as advertisements on our post pages. To begin with, let's set the advertisement name and activate the advertisement. The plugin is able to search some phrases in the content, which we will define later, and show advertisements related to the content. Let's select Title, so that the plugin will search the phrases in the title. Now, let's navigate to From URL tab and set main site URL. Let's say we want to show Android collectible figures when there is a post whose title contains Android. To do so, let's search Amazon for Android figures and use the URL for the search as test search URL. To retrieve data from the search page, the plugin uses CSS selectors. Hence, to find CSS selectors, let's show the developer tools. First of all, we need to write a CSS selector for each product's container element, which is the element that contains all of the information for one product. Let's test the selector to make sure it is correct. Great. We can see the product codes. After we define the container selector, we should write other selectors relative to the container. Now, let's find a selector for the product name. Remember, we should write the selectors relative to the container element. Let's write CSS selectors for product URL, product image URL and the text we want to show with the product. We can also add parameters to the product URLs. Let's add a referrer parameter. The settings for showing products from Amazon are ready. Now, let's create a post to test the settings. We can now define items for phrase search URL map. By this way, we can show products from a specific page when some phrases exist in the content. Let's show Android figures when the post title contains Android. Now, let's go to the tester and test the settings. Awesome. We can see the figures from Amazon search page. Each time we hit the test button, the tester will request a random amount of advertisements. Now, let's remove the Android from the title and check again. No advertisement is found, as expected. To always show advertisements in such cases, we can use fallback advertisements. Let's go to Fallback Advertisements tab and define a fallback advertisement. Great. We can see the fallback code. Now, let's write the proper HTML code for it. We can use the Tools page to create an advertisement code compatible with the code that the plugin uses. Awesome. Now, let's create more fallback codes. We can also show a fallback advertisement alone by checking full width and single checkbox. In this case, when the fallback code is selected to be shown, it will be shown alone and other found codes will be ignored. Nice. The fallback code is shown alone. We can also define advertisements as fallback. Let's define Amazon settings as fallback. In this case, when there are not any advertisement matching with a post, Android figures will be shown. Nice. Even if the post title does not have Android in it, Android figures are shown as we wanted. We can also define manual advertisement codes for an advertisement. Let's create a manual advertisement which should be shown when the post title contains test. Great. It works. We can show the advertisements on the post pages in two ways. The first one is to modify theme files by adding the advertisement code. Let's copy the code that is used to show the advertisements and add it to the theme. I am using 2016 theme and I want to show the advertisements above the article. To do this, I will add the code to the content single file. Since this is a PHP code, we need to add the code in between PHP tags. Now, let's check out the post. We do not see the advertisements, because we did not activate it. Let's activate it and try again. Great. The advertisements are shown just above the article. The second way to show the ads is to use the shortcode. Let's copy it and manually add it to our post. Awesome. We can see the ads inside the post. We can show different amount of advertisements for mobile and desktop devices. Let's show 2 products for mobile. We can see there are 2 products shown in the post. However, the ads above the article are not shown. This is because the mobile count is set to 0. Let's change it and try again. There it is. We can also limit the length of ad title. Let's do so and make sure the ads are opened in a new window, and the links are not followed. Oops. It should be 20. There you go. We can see our referrer code is appended to the product URL as well. Thanks for watching. See you in another tutorial.